I thought it wasn't enough, like in every single way. And it wasn't until about a year ago that I realized the way I felt about myself were her words still lingering with me, like 10 years later. And I realized that's not who I am, that's not my truth. She doesn't define me anymore, she doesn't get that power over me. And I've started to heal.
You guys, things aren't exactly great between Chloe and Maddie Ziegler, and people are blaming this on dance moms.
When Lifetime approached you all to do this reunion, what was your first reaction, your biggest reservation maybe?
Well, I said no because it didn't feel right. I've spent so many years trying to kind of leave that in the past, and then I went to college and I kind of disappeared for a minute, and that was my last semester when we were filming, and I decided, like, not in an arrogant way, but they're gonna talk about the people who aren't there, so they're gonna talk about me no matter what, so I may as well be there to kind of be able to speak my piece and say my opinions and talk about what happened in the past, express my gratitude for the experience and the opportunity, and then shut the door and really close the book and move on with my life in a better way where I feel like I have closure.
If there's one show that you should binge watch if you want to learn to be mean, Dance Moms is the one. Literally for years, Dance Moms has ranked high when it comes to the worst shows that ever aired on TV, and let me tell you, even the recent reunion was a straight up emotional roller coaster. It was all tears, handkerchiefs soaked in mascara-streaked agony, hugs that were more like desperate embraces, and more tears. But in the middle of all the chaos, there was one voice that cut through the noise like a sharp knife through butter. Chloe Lukasiak, and we have to talk about this. For Chloe, attending this reunion was more like a moment to finally open up about all of the pain that she has put up with at the hands of none other than Abby Lee Miller herself, and let me tell you, it's enough to make your blood boil. Without any further ado, let's get right into it, loves.
I just wanted to hug you during this. I just felt so much for you, Chloe, and I want you to know, and I think fans will say, you are enough. You always were enough.
Thank you. I'm gonna cry.
During the sit-downs, Chloe found herself confronting demons she thought she had buried long ago. She talked about her childhood wounds in a raw and painful manner. She talked about how, as a kid, believing everything that people said about her, which was never really a good thing given how the Dance Moms show used to go over and above to bring out the worst in the girls. So instead of people seeing the real her, they were only shown the scripted lies that the girls were made to do on camera. When asked what advice she'd give her younger self, her response was nothing short of heartbreaking. She said she'd tell her younger self that she's not what people think of her and that she's currently defining her own path.
Other people's opinions of you or who they want you to be don't define you. You are limitless and you're whoever you want to be, and so it's still something I'm working through, but I can say now I'm in a better place than I've ever been.
Chloe even mentioned how important it was for her to attend the reunion because being around people who suffered the same fate as her healed her spirit and also helped her rediscover herself.
And doing the reunion really helped me start to realize what it is that I need to work through, and now I've been working through it, and I just feel like it's a whole new era for me.
We'll talk about this whole pyramid system BS a little bit further down, but while still on Chloe, she even added that in real sense, at some point Dance Moms stopped being a competition and literally turned into rivalry. And this phrase really broke her.
That rivalry that was created was sure, in a sense, good for pushing the two of us to, like, you know, get better and better, but it really took me down. Sorry, I need to sit.
Besides sucking all the self-esteem out of those girls, Chloe mentioned yet another struggle that she has had to deal with, and that is her relationship with Maddie Ziegler. If y'all remember, one of Abby's great moments was pegging Chloe and Maddie against each other. And now as she looks back, Chloe said how all that wasn't even necessarily helpful to begin with. And she's right, because that constant head-to-head was never the essence of the competition. Chloe said that she thought Dance Moms would be like any other dance reality show where as a participant, you're there to learn, improve, push yourself, and work harder. Unfortunately for them, the producers manufactured unnecessary rivalry and unhealthy competition, yet she was going to give her best anyway. If you think about it, Chloe is right, because come on, all of them were on the same team, practicing the same solos, choreo, same dance teacher. Like, what was the need to rival her against Maddie all the time?
I was ready to put in the hours all the time anyway. I didn't need that, and I think it really affected both of us in different ways, and I can't speak for her how she felt, but it felt unnecessarily cruel a lot.
And this brings us to the actual show itself and the specific situations that broke these girls. Y'all remember how Abby used to grade them from best to worst every week? No, really, let's talk about this for a minute, y'all, because what was that? Well, granted, the entire show was super competitive and toxic, but there's one particular bit that never sat well with a lot of people, and that is the pyramid.
And on the top of the pyramid is Maddie.
I was so happy to be on the top of the pyramid for 2 weeks in a row, but also I kind of feel bad for the other girls because I think they worked very hard too.
The pyramid system was one of the most disgusting things about Dance Moms. Abby used this pyramid method to literally rate the kids from the best dancer of the week to the worst, and the least performer's photo would be at the bottom of the pyramid. Those young girls were put into a super competitive environment where they're constantly comparing themselves against each other in the most unhealthy way possible. This is something Maddie talked about once on a podcast, saying how she ended up becoming such a perfectionist throughout her life, and that she had to unlearn a lot of those things she had been made to do as a kid. She didn't even know being super competitive and a perfectionist was wrong. Maddie literally thought that was how everyone else lived. Clearly, every decision about the show was meant to create conflicts, fights, and jealousy.
My thought process when I was younger, also through my dance teacher, was like, you have to be the best. If you don't win, you're not good. And so that was like the mentality when I was so little, and I was such a perfectionist and I was so hard on myself, and now I'm trying to unlearn all those traits. And it's an ongoing battle, because I'm like, I'd like some of the traits that I have when I was little, because I was so determined and I was like so strong, like headed about everything. But now I'm also like, hey, if I mess up, like,
Right.
It's not the end of the world. I'm gonna continue.
And to make matters worse, Dance Moms was never a scripted show. Everything these girls experienced was real and raw. The fights, the outbursts, and the performances were all real. Otherwise, going by the information from the girls, their moms, and even Abby, who has revealed in interviews, the producers worked overtime to portray everyone in the worst way possible.
About the show being scripted, the show is not scripted, but it is very heavily edited and very heavily produced. Like, the producers were definitely mean sometimes, and they were the biggest instigators, the biggest freaking instigators ever. Now, edited, oh my god, they can edit anything. They can edit what you say, they can edit where you are in something, they can edit anything. They can make anything look any way they want it to.
Even that pyramid system that Abby would use to rate them wasn't her idea, but it was the producers. And in their words, the person at the bottom was trash while the one on top was excellent. Imagine calling a kid trash while their dance teacher yelled at them that they deserved nothing. When someone pointed out to Abby how she used the worst ranking system on the girls, she said, "I've never done that in my life. That has nothing to do with me. That's the show." They came up with that whole process. Let's just process this for a minute, guys. So picture a whole team of adults, professionals actually, in a meeting, scratching their heads and thinking hard on what show to create. And someone's light bulb moment goes off with a brilliant idea. How about selecting young girls from across the country, battling it down in a dance competition? Everyone agrees it's a brilliant idea, but there's a twist. The team decides that dancing alone won't make the cut, so they spice up the show with drama and chaos. They then bring the girls' moms into the picture because, according to Dance Moms producers, there's nothing more entertaining than children watching their moms fight each other. But that's not all. The producers decide that the only way their TV ratings would go through the roof was to make children cry and get mistreated beyond the breaking point. And who better to do it than the meanest, most insensitive, evil, thoughtless, dramatic, and hostile dance instructor?
A lot of questions about if Abby's mean or not. I would probably just say, like, what you see is what you get.
Guys, that's basically how Dance Moms was made. These fully grown, tax-paying adults even decided to come up with a ranking system where the kids were made to be extremely competitive, and the least performer of the week would have her photo put at the bottom and be labeled trash. On top of all that, these kids were meant to shoot for extremely long hours, especially on the so-called pyramid days. If they didn't act or behave the right way the producers wanted, they would be made to repeat it until everyone got it right. Even Abby had to be as dramatic and heartless as possible when delivering the results, and if the producers weren't satisfied, she also had to do it over and over again until they got the best shots. And remember, the best here means the videos where Abby was at her absolute worst, where she made the girls cry the most.
It really takes us like 3 hours because like we either don't walk in the right way.
The attention to detail on pyramid days was just shocking. Even the moms and their daughters daughters were expected to walk in a certain way and have certain reactions throughout the sessions, or they would start from the top. And then to finish it off, the producers made the girls and their moms sign super complicated and unreasonable contracts, making leaving the show way harder than joining. And so for years, this cycle continued, and it didn't matter to any adult that the girls were at their breaking point.
And she really did everything to try and break our contract and pull us out, and eventually did.
Wow.
With the help of Sia, she helped us a lot too. But it was hard.
Fortunately for Chloe, she's currently at a place where she can talk about it all positively. She even mentioned being grateful for the opportunity because even though it was brutal and came at a cost, it opened so many doors for her, and she's actually successful because of Dance Moms.
But I think it really shaped who I am, so I'm grateful for it. It completely has had a role in shaping my identity, so everything happens for a reason.
Well, you're coming out stronger from this. That
Right.
is definitely sure.
That's a win.
Yes, that is a win.
And of course, the host had to ask Chloe what her relationship with Maddie was like, to which she said that even though they were made rivals at a younger age, they grew up and they were both able to look past it.
What is the relationship like between you and Maddie today, Chloe?
I still consider her one of my closest friends. I mean, she's like a sister to me.
Really?
I don't see her that often, and we don't often, get to hang out or talk or anything. But when you go through something like we went through together,
Trauma?
a bond, yeah.
Essentially.
Trauma bond.
I think what Chloe is trying to say is that she and Maddie are cordial, not super tight, but not indifferent to each other either, and that's just good enough. One thing about the OG Dance Moms girls is that they always have a word for Abby, and as you can already tell, it's never really positive, except JoJo Siwa, of course. Chloe said that even though Dance Moms set her up for success, which she's very grateful for, she is not interested in reaching out to her at all or reconciling. But still, Chloe was super sympathetic to Abby's current situation. Things aren't exactly looking up for Abby with her whole cancer situation.
You just want to move forward.
I have a life of
Run the
peace
other
now,
route.
and I have a
And you wanna keep
successful
it that
career
way.
now,
Yeah.
and it's in
Yeah.
spite of her, not
Right.
because of her. So I'm gonna keep it pushing.
I don't know about y'all, but it's kind of sad that all the Dance Moms OG girls don't have fond memories of Abby and want nothing to do with her. Had she been kind to them even a little bit, Abby would have been having the time of her life right now, surrounded with love from these successful girls that pass through her hands. But y'all know how it goes, you reap what you sow. Plus, karma never misses its address. I mean, take a look at Chloe for instance. One of the saddest and almost unforgivable things Abby ever did was that she didn't even have the decency to leave medical issues out of her insults. There was a time that she made fun of Chloe's eyes, knowing too well that Chloe suffered from a condition called silent sinus syndrome, which can always make someone's eyes look funny, and of all the things Abby could have used to harass Chloe, not that she should, she went for her medical condition, and that was just the lowest of low, to be honest.
The reason I left Dance Moms was because my former dance teacher made fun of a medical condition I have, and if you watched a video that I released on my YouTube a couple of years ago, I have a condition called silent sinus syndrome. Some might say that it wasn't that serious what she said, which I would disagree. She was really rough on me that year. We were at nationals. My mom was actually sticking up for one of my friends that I used to dance with. My dance teacher decided to start yelling at my mom about me. We were in the back room and we weren't supposed to be there, but we heard everything that was said. The crew that took care of the girls, they would always separate us from that, which was great. But I just happened to be listening and I heard everything she said, and they didn't show it on Dance Moms, and it's not really said a lot, but she made fun of me.
To make matters even way worse than they already were, other than harassing these kids for no reason whatsoever, Abby never spared their mothers either. And she's always made sure that the girls were always in the room to witness their mothers being yelled at and insulted. Guys, I honestly don't know what shakes a child's self-esteem more than seeing their parent being humiliated.
Ava, you're too tall for us today. You're cut.
Thank you for this opportunity.
Honey, you're a great dancer. You're gonna be successful. You can get away from your mother and get great training. Go.
Get away from me.
Now that I think about it, this reunion should have just been called Surviving Abby Lee Miller, because that's all they ever did, and people actually agree. Deep down inside, Abby hated Chloe the most because she knew Chloe was the one who could compete on the same level as her fave, Maddie. This breaks my heart. I love Chloe so much. She's so kind and genuine. She's enough. She's perfect and always will be. The abuse these girls had to go through, and on national television, I feel so bad for all of them. Chloe, you are more than enough. All the other girls girls were nodding and agreeing with Chloe except JoJo. We see you, JoJo. She literally just showed up to promote her career and make it known to the other girls how grateful they all should be. Yep, it's always JoJo Siwa. Anyways, loves, that's it for Chloe's closure, and it's super awesome that she's no longer listening to people who keep reminding her that she's not good enough, because she is. Thank you guys for watching, and see you in the next video.